Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Mother Nature's Intern. I'm Crystal Sweet, and I'm really grateful that you are joining me for this third episode. I want to acknowledge that it's really vulnerable to come on here, and I don't know who watches my videos, maybe one person, maybe three, maybe 10, I don't know. But I am really grateful. It's also very vulnerable because even though you see that somebody has viewed your video or you see views, you don't know who's on the other side viewing, and you don't know what they're thinking, whether or not they're judging you, particularly with the subject that I'm talking about. I talk about magic, I talk about aliens and all things under the sun, portals, you name it. And people might be on, in the background thinking that I'm crazy. And I'm quite the contrary, but I also know that if I don't use my voice, I am really limiting myself about what my potential is, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. And that's the beauty of life. That's beauty of this lived experience, is us as humans discovering what it is that lights us up. And ever since I was little, as you saw in my first video, spirituality and magic really light me up, and it always has. So this is really truly in alignment with who I am. So today's episode is about healing. And one thing I know about myself, especially as I am at this stage of my life, I know that I am a healer. And all of us have different skills. All of us have magic. Magic is in every single one of us. Every one of us has different things that we bring to the table. And I have always known in my heart of hearts that there's something about both my touch and my care that is very healing. And it's been really cool to add some extra pieces to my healing repertoire. So I wanted to name some things that I feel are in my wheelhouse. Maybe it'll inspire you or even help you recognize the ways that you heal others. So the first way that I consider myself a healer is by way of touch. When I was a little girl, kind of through elementary school, middle school, my mom always worked really hard. She worked a lot of jobs and again was a single mom with us 3 kids. And I would give her a massage. And I remember her just being so grateful. There's nothing like the hands of your little one rubbing your back, knowing that they feel your stress and the weight of the world on you. And if I didn't do it, like who else was gonna rub my mom's shoulders after she'd been working all day? And I got a lot of positive affirmation from that from my mom, and it made me feel really proud, and it made me feel like I was doing this act of love. And fast forward to me now being a mom of 3 kids, 2 of my kids living at home. And one thing that is guaranteed that they would all say about me, including my husband, is that I give great massages. And I really feel proud of that. I feel the same sense of pride that I did when I was a little girl. My husband, he said, like, my touch is magic. I calm him down. He's a really brilliant man, and his mind is always going 100 miles an hour. And my touch is able to literally calm him down to his core and stop the world. And then my little girl, she just always tells me, Mom, you should be a masseuse for your job. And I always tell her, well, I only like to massage people I know. Like, my ick is that it would be like not really enjoying just massaging whoever. That's just for me. But I do know that if I feel safe with you and I feel compelled to, giving, a massage is really a way of caring for somebody and also a releasing of energy. One thing about me, you will hear the word energy coming from me, like, that is my word. I have used the word energy probably every day of my life for the last 10 years. And so to me, a massage or just human touch, which we know through studies, scientific studies, that human touch is literally an imperative for survival. People will die without physical touch, and which is why a part of like that being loneliness is why people will die prematurely. So to me, it just really makes me feel grateful that I can provide that gift of healing to my family. And, again, it's just something simple that I can do. Another thing that I am really big on, and this just makes me feel like I'm making my ancestors proud, and like the way, way back ancestors, is I love healing medicines, like natural medicines. Mind you, for me, I'm definitely, when it comes to like treating ailments or illness, I'm a good mix of Western medicine, natural medicine. I've even utilized Eastern medicine and have had a hankering for some Chinese acupuncture lately. But with that mix, I really have put my family on to salves. If you know me, my friend Shania the other day, she was telling me, she was laughing about it because she was like, salves, who are you? And I was like, just trust me, like they're so healing. So gotta plug a company that I have been buying their salves, and you can get salves from a lot of different people, but Folk Potions is a small woman-owned business, and she's based out of Texas, and she makes these salves that for a really reasonable price, among other stuff. And as soon as I found her company, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta buy some, because there's just something about the love and intention with these organic salves. So like this one, this is a Goodbye Fungi salve. And one thing that I really appreciate about my mom, because this is something that was passed on from my mom to me within healing, is always having on hand your main skin creams, because 9 times out of 10, these creams are going to help heal something that you have. You either have a rash, and so like a hydrocortisone that you can get from the grocery store can help with a rash or itchiness, or an antifungal cream like a jock itch cream, whatever the medicinal name, the main medicine is. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I promise you, if you have that, and then historically I have used Neosporin, but I've seen some videos that I'm like, maybe that's a scam. So washing with like a scrape with just hot soap and water seems to be still doing the trick to keep any sort of bacteria going. But if you have any sort of like fungi and you don't want to use the over-the-counter medicine, a salve like this can really help. And then I even have just like a couple of generic salves. So this one is an all-purpose one. So like this week I had a cut on my finger, and so I've been slathering this on. I had surgery a year ago next month, and I had a bunch of scars on my stomach, and this stuff works so good in helping to heal that. My stomach looks fantastic. I had 6 incisions. And then ironically, years ago when my son was just a little like preschooler or kindergartner, he had to go to an urgent care, and we happened to take him to like a holistic urgent care. We couldn't tell it was holistic, and it's actually kind of cool. But they didn't charge us for like cleaning him up after he had a big owie. And they gave us this super healing salve that one of the naturopathic doctors had created. In like, how old is my son now? My son is 12. So for like 7 years, we have been using this little jar of salve. And in fact, like this is a mighty jar. So we just came back from Japan, and Japan was so hot and muggy, and my little Northwest self was struggle busting it. Like fantastic trip. Like low key, I'm kind of want to go back like ASAP. But the humidity was still really kicking, and it was late September. So at the end of the day, I was having like skin rashes from just like the heat. And this, I put it on, next morning, totally fine. My husband had a skin thing, put that on, totally fine. My daughter had something. I promise you, nature is the healer. Everything that we need is by Mother Earth: water, air, earth sign, everything, medicine. And I feel like I'm just a baby, like in infancy, and understanding all of the medicinal ways that I can tap into nature. But I feel like I am giving love to both myself or my family when I utilize a salve. And again, if you're not a salve person, that's not your jam, even just having, again, like a antibiotic cream, antifungal cream, and an anti-itch or hydrocortisone cream, those are ways that I like. My husband always goes, babe, you're not a doctor. And I'm like, I am our family doctor. If our kids are sick or they have an owie or something, they come to me because they know I know what I'm doing. And in-house, I help to heal them. And also Pepto-Bismol. I'm just gonna shout out Pepto-Bismol because that works like crazy, and my 9-year-old is sold on Pepto. But I know there's other natural ways to help your stomach. I think like ginger is another really good way. So as I continue to age, God willing, I will continue to tap into my naturopathic like bank of medicines, but I am a healer for my family. That's number 2. Okay. Another way that you can help in healing, and something that I also really enjoy doing, is being an active listener. In a time where folks are so distracted, our attention spans are shorter than they've ever been. Everything is competing for our attention. In our, attention span, like I said, has really gone down. To be able to just caringly, actively listen as somebody is sharing about themselves or venting or getting something off their chest, you are creating a healing space for that person. Even if it's just a day where they had a tough day or a circumstance they needed to work through, most of the time we are able to heal our own problems. And we also have guidance from our spirit guides, but generally, like, we really do have so much wisdom and we've barely tapped into it. So creating active listening space for when somebody is sharing with me is really important, and it makes me feel like I'm really showing them care. And again, they leave that interaction knowing that I really just wanted to be there for them. Okay. Another thing that you can do, or things that I do that feel like I am healing my family lineage, is I have built a ancestral altar, and it was something that was really strong within me to do. It was like one of those, oh, that seems like a cool idea. Okay, oh gee, where would I put it? And I had hemmed and hawed about it. In our previous house, I didn't quite have a space that I ever really found. So I do have an ancestral altar. It happens to be in our bedroom, and I know that some people will say, oh, it's not really wise, you're bringing that energy into the room, but I've got like 4 years with this altar and I've never had any issues, and it feels very loving, and it's like in a good spot. Anyway, when I talk to my ancestors and I talk to my loved ones that I have pictures of or I get to honor on my altar and provide an offering of food, and I have all my crystals on it and I light my incense, to me, I take that opportunity to pray and thank and say hello to my ancestors and show appreciation by my offering, so they understand that I know as a modern woman that I have so many more rights, so many more opportunities to exist, to be my full self, and to use my voice, which is why it is so important that I use my voice in this space, because it is something that I have always shied away from when it comes to just expressing myself in my own thoughts. So that, I know, is a way of healing my ancestors, healing my ancestral lineage, and just to show gratitude in the sacrifice that they had to make. I think oftentimes about my great grandmother, Grandma June Eastman. She had, I believe, 3 other sisters. It was the 4 girls. And when they were little in Colorado, they were living in a house, and their mom died. Like, she was a young mom. Actually, they also had a brother. So like, it was a total of like 5 kids. And their mom died when she was really young, and I don't know her cause of death. And at the time, Colorado, which interestingly, both sides of my family both went through Colorado and stayed there for a while before eventually coming to the Northwest, were down there for gold and whatever industry was like going to provide opportunity. And so with that, the mom died, and the dad, my great grandfather, didn't know what to do with these 4 girls. So he sent them to go live with their great aunt Edna, who was my great grandmother's sister. And so my great grandmother never got to really like grow up with her mom. And, it's luckily they had each other. and they had an aunt that they were able to live with. And I know that there was even a house fire that they experienced over in Bremerton, and there's like a memento or a lamp that was passed down to my mother. So like I know that story well enough, and I have their pictures on my altar, and I think about the pain of not living with their mother and being sent away from their father and their brother, and like maybe the loneliness that like my great uncle felt, the little boy who stayed with my great grandfather. So I just know that everybody has a story, and trauma and hurt happen in every lifetime, but by being able to honor them and know that, especially as a woman, I can make so many more choices. I can decide whether or not I want to be married or be a mom or travel the world or change my last name or not, or speak really loudly and be blunt and not polite, or whatever it is that I want to do, I can do that. So anyway, I just wanted to share that ancestral story and also recognize that I know that I am here to do the work, to heal within myself things that my loved ones didn't have the opportunity to heal. So last couple things. Lately, I've been experiencing a couple of small health issues. Your body is a complex system. It's a very wise, brilliant system. And I'll never forget when I was talking to a girlfriend. She's also really spiritual. She hit me by saying she had a really upset stomach, and she was telling me that she was talking to her stomach, and she was really picturing it and giving it affirmation to help it calm down and help it to function better and digest the food smoothly. And I'd never thought of that before. And when she said it, I was like, oh my gosh, like that is brilliant. Like I've never really just like talked to my body. And this was, a few years ago. So if I'm 45 now, like this is like, have I been living that long separated from my own body, never talking to my body, like understanding everything is alive, rocks, grass, my fingernails, like all of this is alive. And when you recognize it and see it as such, like to be able to talk to my body and talk to the different parts of my body that are helping me function each day, that like kind of blew my mind. And it's still something that's like relatively new to me and how I conceptualize myself and my body. I often just think about my spirit and it's like, oh, I got this meat suit. I hate that term, by the way. That's like super gross. Meat suit makes me want to dry heave. But it is kind of an accurate way to like talk about your body. But it's also not a super loving way to talk about your body. So anyway, you're not gonna hear me talk too much meat soup-ish stuff. But I really just like, whenever I've had ailments lately, I have really, really been intentional with talking to my body. So here's kind of two things. So I've always been very, very cold to the touch, like remarkably cold. I've always had like circulatory issues, nothing that needed like medical treatment. But certainly I remember when I was like in middle school, I would cross my legs and my foot would turn blue. Like I definitely have some like circulation problems. And with that, again, my skin is very cold, like ice cold. And I just like prayed on it and was like thinking on it. And I just like got the message that like, from my previous lifetimes and even early on through, kind of some tough lived experiences, have really harbored my core energy of my body deep within myself. And it is in a very protective mode. And that's what I learned from kind of like this, like, I don't know, meditation or whatever that I did. And understanding that like blew my mind. It was like, my body doesn't feel safe. My energy source doesn't feel safe to just be, and doesn't know that it is okay to radiate energy through my arms, through my legs, through my hands, to my toes. And it has to feel safe. But how does something feel safe? By consistently being told that it's safe, by hearing the words, by telling my body I love it and that it's safe and everything is okay and we're not in fight or flight. I have so much fight or flight and anxiety from previous lifetimes that have so come into this lifetime. Like, you're not just freaking born anxious. Like, I was an anxious kid, and to this day, very anxious. But like off top, there was no like, I built up to anxiousness. Like out the womb, I'm anxious. And so it's like, no, we're carrying these things from other lifetimes. And if we don't know what the root of them is or how to heal it, we're just going to continue with the same patterns. And I want my body to know that it is safe and I love it. And it's so much easier for me as I have really seeked to love myself and really just like accept myself. I love myself and I love my body and I love what it does for me. And I love right now as I'm talking to you, I'm not in pain. I feel good. Like, I have a full stomach. I mean, I have a lot of things to be grateful for. I'm very abundant in my life with like my basic needs. So I just have to keep talking to it. And I just really in my heart know intuitively that it is working, and it is slow. It is a slow grind. It's not like one of those things where I tell my body once, yeah, body, like you're good to go. Everything is about intention and vibration and how I talk to my body. It makes a difference. And so it's something that I'm still working on, and I will keep you posted because I would love to have some toasty legs and arms. I don't know, that sounds so weird, but I promise you, my husband is like, whoa, you're freezing. Okay, so there's that. So it's like talking to your body, like if I have an ailment. So that there's another thing with my body. This is really important with healing energy. Visualization is such a powerful tool. And so right now I have a medical issue that I'm currently in the process of trying to heal. And what I do is I picture that body, part of my body, and I just calmly breathe. And I literally picture like a white or like a yellowish light emanating around that part of my body. And I talk to it and I say, you know, what my intention is for that part of my body. And I just literally know that my intentional energy being put towards a particular part of my body is going to heal myself. And I also want to be clear because, you know, somebody could misconstrue like, okay, like you get diagnosed with cancer. And I'm also not saying that you couldn't do some form of healing in collaboration potentially with whatever medicine you decide to choose. So I'm saying this with a grain of salt, take it for what it is. But for me, for minor body ailments, I really do find that there's something very magical that I know our ancestors from the beginning of time understood so much better than we do now. We've been clouded and programmed so much more to be in this system for compliance. And so there was another ailment that I was doing the same thing for. And again, listen to my spirit guides and understanding that that is something that I have control of doing. And so I invite you to try it next time that you have, I don't know, an upset stomach or whatever ailment that you have in your body, and to really just breathe intently, breathe intentionally, and, you know, with nothing to distract you, just really focus your energy and visualize that body part and emanate light towards it. Things that I feel like I used to do as a little girl or as a kid, and I used to just poo-poo it. Like I'd be like, oh, that's just my imagination. Once you realize so much of what we do all the way from childhood to adulthood is literally magic, but we don't look at it like that because we're so like disempowered. Okay, so anyway, to wrap up, I just wanted to like really reiterate that like I am a proud healer. I don't know if any of these things resonated with you particularly. Maybe there's something that you do that you feel makes you a healer, or something that you would want to try on yourself or a loved one to help them heal. So the things that we went over today is salve. I love a good naturopathic salve, and I find that it's just so nurturing and feels like I'm putting love into my skin when there's a scratch or a cut or a rash because it's from nature. Massage. Oh, and then this is one thing about massage that I wanted to talk about. So I have friends that are Reiki specialists, and I respect Reiki very much. There's something in me, sometimes I question myself like, Crystal, are you not for going further into the study of XYZ because you just don't want to spend the time doing that. Maybe you're lazy, like all this negative self-talk. There's something in me sometimes that just knows, Crystal, you're already doing the gist of something. Go with that. You have what you need to do this work. And so by no means am I like belittling the magic of Reiki energy healing, because there's a lot of elements to it that are really, really dope that I find that like I'm not particularly doing in my healing touch. But the gist of what I'm doing, I really do feel like go with your gut. If your intuition is saying you're on the right path, you really are healing by way of touch. That's what I want to do. My goal is to heal the physical body and even, soothe the spirit. And so anyway, that's that. So talked about massage, active listening, creating a space for someone that allows them to just be themselves and just to share and get something off of their chest. It allows them to heal. It allows them to feel seen. Talking to your ancestors by way of your ancestral altar and seeking to heal your ancestral lineage. And then imagining healing light where you might have a physical ailment, and also to like talking to your body, creating an actual relationship with your body. So anyway, that's that for today. Thank you so much. Again, who knows who sees my videos, but I appreciate you so much, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye.